Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending on where you are in Australia and around the world. My name's Mark. I own and operate the Purple Penny with my wife Catherine. We're a small coin shop in the northern suburbs of Adelaide. We've been here for about 3 years. Catherine is over there in her room packaging up the weekend's orders, as she usually does on Mondays. It usually takes most of her day on Mondays to get on top of all of that. Welcome everyone, wherever you are. So last week in the shop was, from a buying point of view, was very busy. We had lots of people bringing things in to sell us. We had a number of accumulations of coins. I'll just call them accumulations. They weren't really collections. We also had someone bring in some honeybee security rolls, which pleased Catherine because she was looking for some of those. And we were lucky enough on Thursday night to attend the Numismatic Association of South Australia bourse. And a bourse is a sort of an old word for sales tables at the regular monthly meeting, and we picked up a few interesting things there, including some nice ancient coins, which was good fun. And it's always a pleasure to get along to those meetings and meet the members and talk about coins and collectibles and all that sort of stuff. It's online is all well and good, but sometimes it's good to just get out and talk to actual coin collectors. Right, so a few hellos. Hello John, Mike, Paul, another John, Petra, Greg, Teresa, Sarah, Brendan, and another Greg. Thanks everyone for joining in today. So let's jump into the news for the week. I'm continuing with my B-roll watch. I think the B-rolls are surfacing here in Adelaide quite a bit because I've noticed a number of familiar faces selling B-rolls on Facebook Marketplace and various Facebook groups, and Catherine did point out to me this morning that someone was trying to sell them for $75 each, so that price has settled down about there. RAM rolls, I'll freely admit here that I was wrong about the RAM rolls. They haven't come down remotely as much as what I was expecting. So there's about 30 auction results that I checked in the last week, and they all finished between $132 and $175. $175 is quite a strong result. I must admit I thought they would have been settling down to about 120 by now, given the number of security rolls that are around. Just another reminder that the Royal Australian Mint release for July is only has one coin. It's a half gram 999 gold coin, and I have forgotten the type of animal that it's on there again. It's in a Lighthouse Ever slab. It looks a bit like a graded coin, and they are $90. If you are interested in securing one of those, then you'll probably want to get onto your local dealer or online dealer, because the dealer allocation for those is very small. Now, there were two things in the news this week that related to coins and banknotes, which was quite good. The first of them was a shipwreck, a Spanish galleon that has been discovered. Was discovered back in 2015 by the Colombian Navy off the coast of Colombia, and it was a ship that was sunk by the British Navy in 1708 and contains something like $17 billion in treasure, and that's gold and silver bullion, gold and silver coins, china, and various other artifacts. Now, the actual shipwreck itself is about 1,000 metres underwater, so about 1 kilometre deep, and the location of the wreck has, of course, been kept a secret by the Colombian government, because it would be pillaged by I'll call them pirates, pillaged by pirates if they knew where it was. So there's a couple of pictures there, and they're courtesy of the Colombian Navy. So the top picture there, you can see some coins and whatnot up there. And then down the bottom there, you can see a cannon, and they've actually examined those cannons quite closely and found a manufacturing date on them of about 1658 or so. So, it's a pretty fabulous find. The trouble now is, of course, is that Spain wants it because it was a Spanish ship that was sunk by the British Navy. Colombia wants it because it's in Colombian territorial waters, and it's more than likely that other South American countries are going to want it as well because the Spanish colonialists stole most of this stuff from various Spanish countries back in the 16 and 1700s. Anyway, fabulous thing, amazing to find, to think about that just sitting on the bottom of the ocean, and it's just being left there until the Colombian government can figure out a sensible way of getting the artefacts up off of the ocean floor. Just jump back to the news here. Other things in the news this week was a nice story released by the Reserve Bank of Australia looking back at damaged note claims. You can, of course, send in a damaged banknote to the Reserve Bank and make a claim on it. And it turns out that the most common form of damage for a banknote is being burnt. Somehow the Australian public manages to burn their banknotes. Don't ask me how. Anyway, in the last 7 years, the RBA has averaged about 14,000 damaged banknote claims a year. So that's 14,000 individual claims, and has paid out about $5.5 million in claims every year. And as I said, 30% of the banknotes were burnt. So we'll just have a look at some pictures of those. Now, those banknotes have had it, and it turns out that one of the most common ways that Australians burn their banknotes is by setting fire to them in the toaster, which I cannot quite get my head around, but it turns out that hiding your money in the toaster is actually a thing, and then making your morning toast and setting fire to your stash is also a thing. I find that to be quite remarkable. But in the last 2 years, there has been a glut of damaged banknotes being turned in by members of the Australian public who have either melted them with a hairdryer, destroyed them in the microwave, or doused them in boiling water in an attempt to sanitise their banknotes due to COVID hysteria. Anyway, I found that to be quite a remarkably funny article, and gives you a lot of insights into the way that people handle their money. But yeah, don't put your money in the toaster. It's a terrible hiding spot. Right, let's have a look at a few questions here. Right, hello Alison, Teresa, Claire. I'm glad that you can watch live now, Mick. That's fantastic. Greg, yeah, the great white shark coin. I might talk about that next week because Catherine and I had a good discussion about that this morning, about that particular release. If you're not sure about the great white shark release, please do tune in next week, and I'll have a little bit of a talk about that release. Mike says that the little silver coin is I think it might be I don't know what it is, a kookaburra. I don't know. It doesn't excite me, so I'll make sure I know next week. Claire says she found a double-ended B security roller. Not sure if it will be all B coins. It more than likely is, Claire. The ones that we got, we opened up a few of them, and they were all B coins, including some head ones and some tail ones. And surely toasting your banknotes has ever happened more than once. Well, look, David, never underestimate the abilities of a public to set fire to their banknotes in a toaster, is what I would say to that. And Brooke says that she knows someone who's stashed $20,000 in the oven and forgot about it and melted it into shrinkies. Now, those of you who aren't from Australia, shrinkies is a sort of a time-honoured pastime of children to put chips or crisp packets or other plastic packets in the oven and heat them up and they shrink, and someone has done that to their plastic money here in Australia, so well done to someone who did that. Hello Wendy, how are you? Right, let's jump on to, I'm just doing things a bit differently today. We're going to have a look at a coin of the week because I was lucky enough to, oh, what's that on my face? Hang on a second. There we go. I was lucky enough on Thursday night to see some nice ancient coins and purchased that one that you can see in front of you there, and there it is there. It's a tiny little thing. You can see how it's about as big as my little fingernail, and it's a silver obol, 1.16 grams, 10 millimeters. It's got a lion's head on one side and what they call a stellate incuse floral pattern on the other side, and it was struck in Miletos, which is a city in what was then eastern Greece but is now part of western Turkey, or Anatolia being sort of the west coast of Turkey. And Miletos was one of the 12 city-states that formed the Ionian League, which was a Greek league of cities that was around for about 400 years, I think, from about 600 BC to 200 BC. And this little silver coin was struck sometime between 600 BC and 500 BC. So I am saying BC there, so we're talking about 2,600 to 2,500 years ago. And Ionia and Miletos happens to be quite close to Lydia, and Lydia was another one of these city-states, and Lydia is commonly credited as being the first place in the world where coins were struck. And in Lydia they struck what's called coins from what's called electrum. Electrum is a mixture of silver and gold, and that was around about 600 BC, and it's a very similar time frame to when this particular coin was struck. So what you've got here is a tiny little silver coin. I'll just show you again how small it is there. It is very small, with a lion's head on one side and what's called a stellate floral pattern on the other side. And it was probably struck within 50 years or so of the very first coins that were ever struck in human history. So it is quite difficult to find a coin that's older than this. And there is actually an Ionian electrum obol up here above my head on that shelf up there, but I could not find it this morning. I was looking for it just to show it off with this one. So if you are, I guess, interested in the history behind coins, then getting your hands on something like this, I think, would be quite a nice thing to do. I don't know when this one's going to go up on our website, but you're only looking at between $100 and $200 or something like this. It's not hugely expensive for what, are pretty much the oldest coins in human history. Pretty interesting thing, I think. Right, Teresa has a nice story here for us. We put all our wet notes on top of the mantle place over our fireplace. Once dry, it floated down in a bundle into the fire. 1,000 gone in seconds. Oh dear, that's terrible. I bet you were super happy about that, or your parents, Teresa, whenever that happened. Right, now the topic of the week is one that I visited about a year ago, and the reason why I am visiting again this week is that we had 3 collections come in last week that we purchased. And again, I hesitate to call them collections because they weren't, and I should just explain that many of the items that we get in here for sale are what we just call accumulations. So they are boxes or jars or tins full of what is essentially just leftover money. Money that's left over from holidays, or perhaps left over from when someone lived in another country, or left over from when Australia went from pounds, shillings and pence to dollars and cents. It's not a structured collection, it is just an accumulation of stuff. Now, there's nothing wrong with accumulations of stuff. I really enjoy looking through them. But when people inherit an accumulation of stuff, I always sort of suggest to them that, because the common question, and I'll put this up here, a common question that we get asked is, I'll just sort that out before I bring it in to sell it to you. And I always tell people, look, don't bother. And there's a couple of reasons why. One is that if the collection is sorted out, with little air quotes, i.e. put into 1,000 tiny little plastic bags, then it really just slows us down when we're looking at it here in the shop, because we've got to open up all the plastic bags and look through it. The other reason is that when they're improving their collection, they're cleaning it, then if there's any value there, then obviously cleaning can remove a lot of that value. And the third reason is that I don't really want people to have to waste their money on coin accessories if they don't plan on actually keeping the collection themselves. And we had 3 collections come in this week that were really just an accumulation of 1 and 2 cent pieces, old pre-decimal silver, corroded pennies, pocket change from around the world. And these people had bought folders and coin pages and albums and placed them all into folders and coin pages and albums, which, if they enjoyed what they were doing, then by all means go ahead and do that. But from our point of view, they've really just wasted their money, because we can't sell products. We won't sell products in cheap PVC pages and cheap PVC albums. So the very first thing that we do when that sort of stuff comes in here is take it out. Now, if I'm taking it out or Catherine's taking it out, well, our time doesn't cost us anything, but generally we get our employee to take them out for us, and that does cost us something. So it means that we won't offer as much, because it does cost us money to pull that collection apart. And I guess if you do have a collection and you are thinking about getting rid of it, then if you're going to take it into a dealer, my suggestion would be to just leave it the way it is. And you're just going to save yourself time and money. I will just say, though, that if you are planning on selling it on some other market, perhaps at auction or on eBay or on Facebook Marketplace or something like that, then by all means organise it into albums. There's a good chance that you may well get a better price for things if you're selling them that way. Right, number 1 question: why is your gold and silver so expensive? This is an interesting one. This has come up twice this week. We had I don't know if those of you who noticed, we posted up a 2009 solid gold dollar coin a couple of weeks ago. We put a price on it of about $2,000, and I got a message from someone saying, oh, that's really expensive. There's only about $1,100 of gold in it. And of course there isn't. There's about $1,830 of gold in it. This person had mixed up the American dollar gold price and the Australian dollar gold price. It is very deceptive if you watch the news here in Australia to follow your gold and silver prices, because the news here in Australia always gives those prices in US dollars and not Australian dollars. And of course here in the shop we work in Australian dollars, not US dollars. So our gold and silver isn't expensive. If you think it is, then convert it to Australian dollars and you'll find out that it's not. So that gold dollar coin of ours, it didn't even have a 10% premium on it. It was quite a cheap piece of gold. Right, second question here. Had this question last week, and the people came in on Saturday. They sent me a picture of a 1922 penny that was well worn and covered in verdigris. They sent me a picture of their penny along with a screenshot of some website that had a picture of a specimen penny and some huge price on it, and said, will you pay me this for this coin? No, we won't. And almost always your pre-decimal coin or your old American coin or your old English coin or whatever it happens to be, it is not a specimen or a proof. It is almost always just a worn out circulation coin. Specimens and proofs back in the day were very important things. Think about late Australian pre-decimal proofs. They had actually quite big vintages of 1200 or 5000, but prior to 1955, Australian specimens and proofs usually had mintage figures of less than 10. So the chances of you getting a proof 1927 penny in a bucket of circulated coins is essentially zero. And similarly, your chances of finding a proof Mercury dime or a proof Barber $half or a proof English crown or something like that in a bucket of scrap or in some crummy old world album is essentially zero. I always encourage people to compare their coins with other coins that are around, and you'll always find that your worn out coins look quite a bit different to specimen coins and do look very similar to the coins that are available for purchase on our website and other websites. So no, your coin isn't a specimen or a proof. Which leads neatly into the next question. But so-and-so website says my coin is worth so many dollars. We had 2 gentlemen here at opening on Wednesday morning with I think it was a 1990 US cent, a corroded 1990 US cent. and they'd rung up on Monday about it. They'd sent me a text message on Tuesday about it, and they were here at opening time on Wednesday with their corroded 1990 US cent and a screenshot on their phone saying that such and such 1990 US cent was worth $272,000. Now, I didn't even read the article. Maybe there is a US cent that's worth that much from 1990. I don't know. The challenge is that people write these articles to attract traffic, and if you say your 1990 cent is worth $200,000, and people are going to click on the Google result taking you to your article because they think they're going to have one of those. There's no point writing an article saying that your 1990 US cent is worth 1 cent, because no one is going to click on that article, and then you don't get ad views or ad clicks or whatever that happens to be. I have, for people that are in the right frame of mind, I always cheekily said, I sometimes cheekily suggest to people that if such and such a website says their coin is worth $200,000, then why don't they contact the website and offer to sell them theirs for half of that? Because if it's real, then I'm sure they'd fall over themselves to buy it for half of what the supposed value is. So yeah, just be careful about websites that say your coin is worth X amount of money. If you do want to check up on it, head over to eBay. It's a great source of information. And click on the sold results checkbox, which is down the left-hand side of the web page. Or if you're using the app on your phone, click on the little filter, touch the little filter icon and choose the sold completed results option, and then actually have a look at what these things are selling for rather than what people are asking for them, because asking prices are meaningless. Last one is the number of people that come in here and ask us about what is a good investment. I don't know. I don't know what coins are a good investment. We're a hobby shop and we sell some really cool coins, but are they good investments? I have no idea at all. Catherine and I buy coins that we're interested in and that we know that they're unusual, but with very little, this is for our personal collections, but with very little thought about what they might be worth in the future, because really you just don't know. Those of you who have been around this game for a little while would know that coins in Australia go in cycles. 1 month something is the flavour of the month, the next month it isn't. A couple of years ago, error coins were all over social media. Now you barely see them at all. And we talked briefly about the Great White Shark coin. Supposedly that was an investment coin, but of course it isn't. It's just a collectible. Now, I don't know what's a good investment at the moment with the way the world is. Nothing's a good investment. So if you want to know about investments, go and speak to an investment advisor and perhaps they'll be able to give you some advice. Right, that's it for the dealer FAQs for this week. If you do have any more questions about that sort of stuff, do feel free to ask me, because I do so enjoy talking about it. And I really mean that. I do enjoy talking about this sort of stuff. It's part of what got me into the hobby, so feel free to ask any questions. Right, let's have a look at the comments here. What's the best way of cleaning? Oh no, hang on a second. David Trotter. You must love that my parent was a coin collector and has 3 proof pennies dated 1927, and they also have an look, David. I don't get frustrated by those sorts of questions. There's no point getting frustrated with people who perhaps are new to the hobby, and because if you do get frustrated with them, then you could potentially drive a future coin collector away from the hobby. And Catherine and I are all about creating new coin collectors. That's what primary goal that we're here for, is to encourage people to get into the hobby, and that's not a financial motivation on our behalf. It's truly to just try and get people into the hobby. It's a good hobby, and the more people we can get into it, and the more people of the younger generations we can get into it, then the better the hobby will be in the future. And I did mention people organising their collections, and if someone says to me, but I like organising things, then I encourage them to do so before they bring it in here, because you never know, as they're organising it, they might see some things that they like there and become coin collectors themselves. So yeah, you do get a lot of the same questions, but we don't get frustrated about it. Mick says, what's the best way to clean a 1935 1/2 penny? Mick, I'll give you my standard answer. If it's a really nice 1935 halfpenny and you clean it, then you're ruining the value. If it's a worn out 1935 halfpenny, then you're wasting your time cleaning it. So the best answer is don't clean it, just leave it alone. There's no need to clean coins, just leave them alone. Thank you, Teresa. Yes, Greg, the website Coin Values is very much like the HH $2 coin. Still a common question that we get asked at least a couple of times a week, and we do encourage people to go and look at sold results on eBay for those to prove to themselves that they're really not worth anything. David says he knows what coins are a good investment. Buy the coins you enjoy. That's the investment, not monetary, just enjoyment based. Yes, David, that is a very nice point. The investment of time that you put into this hobby is really going to give you the best rewards that you can. You will learn things and get pleasure out of coins. And I guess compared to a lot of other hobbies, the good thing about coin collecting is that, you know, mostly your coins will have some resale value when it comes time to get rid of them, and that is an advantage. And maybe you're going to lose money, but that is well offset by the enjoyment and pleasure and knowledge that you've gained from owning those coins while you owned them. Compare that to smoking or drinking or gambling, when those things, that the money you spend is gone and all you have is the enjoyment. At least with coins, you have something left at the end of it. And Michael says that he paid $800 for a 2012 miniature money gold proof set 2 days ago. Well, that's fantastic. They're nice little sets, Michael. We haven't had one of those in here for quite a while. We did have a couple. We did have a few a couple of years ago. Darren says he's new to coin collecting and loves it. I now have completed all circulated coin sets and am starting on uncirculated. Well done, Darren. That's an admirable goal and a fun thing to do, to try and get circulation sets out of change. I think we'll wind it up there. Thanks everyone for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. If you do have anything that you'd like me to talk about in the future, then please let me know what it is you'd like me to talk about. Happy to talk about anything. Those of you who want to see Catherine on one of these videos, send contact form messages through the website and tell her she needs to join in. I would like her to come in here and join in again. Happy collecting, everyone. Have a great week, and we'll be back next week. Bye for now.